Hey everybody, it's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? Welcome to our show. Tonight is May 6th, 2025. And we have a great lineup for you. We have Shawn Ryan and Sudi Rick Karatas. Leo, hit that promo.
I'm a big fish in a small pond. Got my days free and the nights long. I create my own reality. Who I am is fine with me. As famous as I wanna be. Who I am is fine with me. It's who I am. It's who I am. Who I am.
Thank you, Leo. Oh my goodness, look at this. Thank you, Leo. You're so sweet. So this is my new poster that Kenny Holcomb made for my show, and I think he did a beautiful job. Everybody's raving about the poster. He went with like an Andy Warhol type thing. Isn't that cool? So just to remind everybody, I am very proud of this to say that I am doing a show at Green Room 42, which is a gorgeous, gorgeous room. The sound is spectacular. It's a beautiful place, and they have delicious food and drink. And my show is Sunday, May 25th at 9:30. And when this is the great thing, Leo has done a wonderful thing. You can either go to the Green Room 42 website if you like, and then just click all shows and scroll down till you see mine. Or you can go to, Leo has designed it so it's easy. Leo, why don't you pop on and tell everybody what you did? Because it makes it so easy to get tickets. So you can go to either website, mariagentili.com, or you can go to what'sthestorywithmaria.com. And Leo did that. That was a little surprise he gave me. So tell them how easy it is to get tickets.
You just go there. They are scrolling there, mariagentili.com. What's the story with Maria.com? You go there and it will pop up. You'll see the flyer. You click on the flyer and it takes you directly to the link. So you can purchase your tickets.
Right.
Yep,
And
directly to the link.
thank you, Leo. So you can get an in-person ticket so that you show up that night. And when you reserve seats there are seats in different tiers. There are different levels, there are different prices. And you sit at really beautiful tables and you can order food. And they'll give you an option for earlier times. People have been asking me. That means sometimes people like to get there early and eat before the show starts. That's all that is. But the show still starts at 9:30, but it does give you that option. And it also gives you like front tables, next level, different levels. I usually sit on the side there, which is fine, but they're all wonderful seats there. It doesn't matter. So and there's a bar there as well, I think, in the back, so you can sit there as well. But please do join us. And if you can't be there in person, and I understand because I often cannot because I work, but you can buy a live stream, and I think the total comes to like $21.75, and you have up to 24 hours or more, I think. But figure 24 hours to start it. So, let's say you're doing something or it's too late for you to come in or you're on vacation, you can still watch it either live while it's happening or later on. And they will send you the link. So they'll email you the link. So the live stream is so cool. Not everybody can get to the show. Not everybody can get there. So this is a great option. I know a lot of our out-of-town friends are going to be doing that. Thank you for the option. Yes, absolutely. It's just, it saves you a lot of hassle if you can't get there, but you still want to see the show. Okay, so that's what's happening. I'm very excited about that. I rehearsed with Lynn Portis. I had one rehearsal with Greg Schlotthauer, who's I have a band. So Lynn Portis is my musical director, as always. She's playing the piano, and then she's also bringing her keyboard. So she and Greg are going to switch off and on keyboard. So it's going to sound like a whole band. And then I have an amazing drummer who's a great friend of mine, Chris Hines. He co-teaches with me. Yeah, he's
Mr. June,
Mr. August.
August. Well, don't show him yet because we've got a great.
Yeah, tell me.
We don't want to upstage our May.
I know. So we have a calendar. the What's the Story with Maria family. We have a calendar called Nothing But the Apron. And of course, it comes out in January, but we have it all year long. So if you missed buying it and you still want to get it, we still have them. I have a couple left, and I always order a few extra. And just let me know. I usually have them at all of my jobs. I carry a few with me, or I can mail it to you. Let me know. And even if you say, well, 5 months, it's been 4 months already, it doesn't matter. The hotties that you're getting are worth. Look at this hottie. Holy moly.
Oh my goodness.
I know. And he's also a California guy. So he's in California. He's in Palm Springs. That's our friend Mel England. He's a wonderful, wonderful actor. And he also has written a few things here and there. So he's just phenomenal. So that is Mel, and he is our Mr. May in our calendar. Yes, Mel, Kate. Mel's my buddy. I love that pot of coffee. That's right. Coffee is on.
Did he have coffee in that picture?
He does have coffee in that picture. I have tea here, but yeah. So if you want, we have merchandise, by the way. We have that apron that he's wearing. We have aprons. They're 25. We have cups, not this red cup. This is was a prototype. We have blue cups. They're really cool, and those are 10.
Yeah, these are.
And I have a couple tote bags left, and they're 10. Oh, those, that's what that looks like. Go ahead. Keep eating. Leo designed those.
And if you're like me, you don't get to finish your coffee in the morning. So in the afternoon, when you're not supposed to be drinking it.
Oh. Oh, my goodness. Look at you.
It's like an iced latte.
Oh, I love that. So straight no chaser with that coffee, says Kate. That's right. Rena Cunali Berge, my cousin from Massachusetts, married to Ron Berge, the original Mr. February. Mr. Postman, go ahead. I knew you were going to do that. He's retired now.
I got to be able to sing it underneath you. I'll do the humming while you talk about him. That'll be his special.
I love that. So watch, Ron Berge was our original Mr. February. And Rena Berge is here, my cousin. She says, hello, beautiful people. Hi, Rena. Rena's going to be live streaming in for the show. So get your tickets, folks. Get your live stream tickets as well. It's good for them to know because they need your email and all that so they can get it ready to send it out that day.
There would be a Boston invasion, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't expect my Boston people to come to New York. It's a lot. It's a busy weekend, and that's okay. But you have the option to stream in. That's the beauty of it. I have a lot of friends from out of town. A lot of my California friends, my Philly friends, they can stream in. I know my my friend Emily, she already bought a ticket, live stream tickets. I love live stream tickets. I can't always get to places. There's no way. Okay, if I can't make it in person, I will definitely live stream. Thank you, Kate. I appreciate that. Okay, so tonight, what else we must. So it's tourist, right? Tourist season, of course. And we have so many tourist friends. Shanna Sharp, Darius Frowner, Darcy Blakesley, Jerry Diefenbach. Lots of tourist friends that have been on our show and that we love. But the number one, the OGs of favorite guests on the Maria, What's the Story with Maria show? Barbara Campanero of Altamont Springs, Florida. She is celebrating 91 years today. She is Susie Campanero's mom, and she is hysterical. And my friend, I love her so much. So I know they're celebrating. They're out celebrating tonight. Otherwise, I would have had her Zoom in. I don't want to, drive them crazy. But I did text Susie and say we were going to give her a shout out. So everybody, if you run into Barbara Campanero, or if you have Susie's number or on her page, just send a happy birthday to Barbara Campanero. And that will be great. Yes, Susie's mom, she's 91. Can you believe it? Unbelievable.
Wow.
She's funny as hell and sounds great and cooks like a dream. And she's just a great person. We love her. And we have the same political views. So we talk about that a lot. So that's what's happening in our world. We got you nice and caught up. Leo, what do you got going on? How are the kids doing? Getting ready for summer?
Yeah, they're already Twitter pated. Spring has hit, no matter what the groundhog has ever said.
Right.
They're all crazy and hyper and acting silly, which is fun. Um, I'm getting my staff. I have a training on Saturday for my summer staff. I'm starting earlier this year so we can get things planned out. So working on that, getting 8 weeks of camp, and then I have 4 weeks of video for the older kids and 4 weeks of live performance for the 8 weeks of that. So I'm trying to
You're so
expand it.
busy. You're so busy. Eugenia Mesa Dominguez, my honey, has checked in. Hi, she says.
Hi, Senator.
She says Leo looks hot. Wow.
Ooh.
He got a new haircut. He is so cute. Leo, it looks spectacular. Look at that.
Got my dude done.
You're too cool for us now. Leo does look hot. And yes, Kate, I'm still making my meatballs. She just asked. Yes, I'm making all the stuff. I just don't advertise it too much because I can only make a few, maybe about 10 things. I probably make more like 15 a week. But just let me know if you need anything and I'll drop it off to you. How cool, Leo, says Kate. I wish I was a kid in your class.
Kate, you're in LA, right? You can come up and drive up to.
She's in New York.
Oh, she's doing. Oh,
yeah. Kate Greer, my friend. She's a voiceover artist, a singer, an actress. She's amazing.
I thought she was in LA.
Well, I think she's done stuff in LA. That's why you probably think so.
Nueva York.
She's in Nueva York. And now, speaking of camp, our first guest, is he with us?
Not yet. He should be in any minute. He's got a minute, and he said he was going to sign in.
Okay, because otherwise we'll bring Rick in first since he's back there. It's not the end of the world. You know, we could do that. Do you think we should? It doesn't matter to me. I mean, we have Rick. We might as well. And then when Shawn comes in, we'll should I?
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, okay. Let me get him in.
And then
Are you ready, Rick? Get dressed, Rick.
Rick, put
your clothes on. Oh my goodness, Rick!
Rick, what the hell? Oh my God, there he is. How handsome! How handsome in the California sun. You've been sun-kissed, as they say.
Oh my God, but it hasn't been sunny at all. It's been cloudy and cool. Like,
really?
Feels like
Has it rained at all?
A tiny bit, but very little. But it hasn't gone above 70 or 65 in like 2 weeks.
We got a lot of rain the last couple of weeks. A lot of rain, which is good. We need it.
Yeah.
So now Rick reached out to me a few weeks ago and said he had a bunch of new stuff that he wanted to talk about. So I had everything booked I was pretty booked for a while, but we had an opening. We wanted to get Rick in. So Rick, a lot of people know you've been on the show a bunch of times. So what are you working on now?
Well, I feel bad, first of all, because Shawn, I think, was going to come in at 9:17. But anyway.
But it's okay. He's running late, and I don't want to feel bad.
I had shot a few
stress.
I shot a few videos in November, actually, and I released one of them in January, Singing Under the Influence, SUI, about singing drunk karaoke. And then I released the other one called The Grain of Salt and a Margarita video in March. Although yesterday was Cinco de Mayo, that probably would have been a good day to do that one. But we shot them both in the same day on an iPhone with a 4K.
Wow, really?
Yeah. And then Carla Guy directed them, edited them, and we had a lot of fun with them. The great cast. Oh, by the way, I didn't know Mel England was the May.
Yes, Mel England is Mr. May. Well, you were Mr. June. When was it? Last year or the year before?
Last year.
There we go.
But Mel is in my music video, All I Want for Christmas Is You Gone. He plays my
I know. It's hysterical. He's hysterical.
There is our Shawn. Shawn just entered it. Shawn,
so do you want to bring it back in and then we can switch off, or it's up to you? I mean, I feel bad because he really was.
It doesn't matter. We'll tell Shawn to hold on.
I feel like Kanye West with Taylor Swift. I grabbed it away from.
No. I just didn't want Shawn to feel pressure. I didn't want Shawn to feel pressure, so we can switch it up. But you know what? Let's do that. We'll bring him back in. However, we'll bring Rick back in because Rick's been on the show a bunch of times, and I do want to talk about your book.
This is just a little tease. I like to tease people, so yeah.
Exactly. So keep your clothes on, Rick. Sudi, Rick Karatas will be right back. Well, in a few minutes.
Okay,
we're going to zoom in and then everybody's going to be together. Because you guys are both from California, or you live out there.
I didn't know that.
Yes, Shawn's from San Francisco. Leo is in Idlewild. I got my Idlewild shirt on that Leo gave me.
Woohoo!
And you're in LA, so this is a West Coast show tonight. So
Go
let's
West.
go. That's it. So let's zoom Rick back out, and we'll bring you in down the line, and we will bring our friend, our mutual friend, and incredible talent. Leo, why don't you introduce Shawn and tell everybody what this
Shawn.
picture is?
You see that wonderful young blonde in this old ancient photo that we used to use back at the turn of the century? Before the turn of the century. Well, that is Shawn Ryan, and that is an old Leo. I've always been old. And this is on the set of shut up, I saw that face. This has been the set of Much Ado About Nothing.
Wow.
And where I first met. Where did he go?
You guys went to school together?
No, he was in the high school program, and we were in the college program. So they brought him up.
We have a little bit.
Yeah, we have a little bit. Shawn, do you have headset perchance?
What do you have? You have feedback? What do you have?
We had a little bit of feedback, but
A little bit of
better
feedback.
now. Sounds better now.
Yep, better now. There we
It's
go.
Okay.
okay,
Oh,
it's
good.
fine.
Oh, good.
Let's not mess with it. It's got a little bit of feedback, but that's okay. Shawn, hello and welcome to our show.
Hello. I'm so technologically unsavvy today.
Listen, so am I. That's why I need Leo.
It's
I need
amazing.
Leo. That's why he's my accidental assistant, my accidental stage manager. It just happened that way because he kept saving my butt. And I was
I cannot believe those photos that you found. Like I saw on Facebook today, someone sent me a post, and it showed me like in like 2000 or something. I'm like, oh no, people are gonna think COVID's killed me.
no.
This is the cast picture, but look at Shawn. There, I got a close up of you. That's you and
Tishan
and Tisha's hugging me. I think
Karen.
Is that Karen hugging you? Yeah.
So tell everybody your connection because this is fascinating and wonderful. And so
we were so lucky. Like in high school, we I think maybe we were sophomores or juniors. A bunch of us went to Cal State, what was then called Cal State Hayward, and they had a Shakespeare competition, and they invited all the high schools, and we went. And I think Leo was one of the judges and was one of the students there at the school. And then they invited some of the high school kids to come and perform in their summer rep, and we got to do. I mean, I only got to do one of the 3 shows, but I think all of the rest of my friends got to do like all 3 shows, and it was sort of like our summer stock, you know.
Wow, that's
sort of be learning all of them at the same time, and that was in 1943. It was a great
43. It felt like it. 1994. Don't give me 95. Was it?
So how old were you when you started doing theater, Shawn? Were you a young kid?
When I started doing it, like in school, I was probably 5 or 6. I was actually the most Jewish kid in a Catholic town. It was like half Catholic, half Mormon, and they decided I would be the dreidel in the Christmas pageant. And it wasn't even called the holiday pageant. No, it was the Christmas pageant, and I was the dreidel. And I spun until I got sick to my stomach, and that was my first performance ever.
Oh, I love that. So you were the spinning dreidel.
The spinning dreidel, and then my dad was, retired now, but was a pro rodeo cowboy champion.
What?
And so we used to go to the rodeo every weekend in different places. And so I ended up making like my big theater debut as one of the rodeo clowns in Pocatello, Idaho.
No.
Like in front of 5,000 people. And the really weird thing, like full circle moment to my whole life, is it was actually in drag. I played like I played the mother-in-law, and they put me in this box, and they drove the box out on this truck, and then they popped the box up, and then the mother-in-law adult version came out and was like this, heavy set, balloons in the breasts and all that. Yeah. And they were like, well, the one clown said, oh, I can shrink my mother-in-law. I've invented this shrinking machine to get her thin.
No.
And they put her in, and then we switched places and switched costumes. And then I came out at 3 foot nothing and chased him out of the arena as a drag.
That's an amazing story. I don't know anyone else that has that story. That was your debut. I don't know anyone else.
I made $5, which to this day is still the most I've ever made in show business.
That's a great story. So you see, we all start somewhere, and I am I was a kid that went to theater camp from when I was 10 to 15. I went at Tufts College, which was right near where I lived, and it changed my entire life. My entire life. Now, and I'm so grateful to my dad for getting me into this program and the wonderful people that worked there and taught, and the wonderful kids that I made friends with. Now, Shawn, you're doing this for other kids. Now you are passing, you've opened up these avenues, and you're doing this amazing theater camp, and that you own it.
Yeah, so I actually started right out of college when I moved back to the Bay Area from New York. I started
Wow.
working as an assistant in a program, and it just so happened that like a year later, I got to take the program over, and I ran that program for the city of Berkeley for a year. And then it sort of got bought out. It just had its life. And my partner at the time, and my mom, who was an entrepreneur, they were both like, "You should do your own theater camp." And I was
Mm,
3 years old, so it was almost 24 years ago. Been,
wow.
we've been running for 24 years. It's sort of known as like one of the, sleepaway camps that people send their kids to, and I think
Wow.
the coolest part to it is everyone that comes to teach at the camp works in the industry to some degree.
Yep.
So like this summer, the kids are getting Cynthia Erivo from
I
Wicked.
saw that. I was blown away by the lineup.
Yeah, the lineups are always pretty insane. And I think it's because we have so many people that come back year after year after year, because I think we're all giving the kids what we wished we had had when we were
Yes.
age. So to be able to actually have that influence on, like you said, sometimes even just meeting the people that are
Right.
doing what you want to do can be so eye-opening. Because I certainly grew up in a small town in Arizona. And unfortunately, when people said like, well, how do you make a living in show business? My parents and I would be like, we don't know. We think it's pretty hard. I don't know. I'm going to
Right.
go to school for it, and I'm going to try to study it. And then the really unfortunate part, and I think it's changed a lot now, but this is, the late 90s when I went to college. There were a lot of professors that didn't really have that answer. There wasn't a lot of
Mm,
business being taught, and certainly not to young people
right.
or their families where it could have really changed. So we're not just about the, making a go of it in the business, but we're about, what if someone gave you the actual tools to where your art could elevate to the highest place where your art can elevate at your level. So it's
I
not just
love.
about like, who's going to be the next Sutton Foster. It's like, who's going to be the next Ava DuVernay? Who's going to be the next
Right.
Steven Spielberg? All these things.
Yes, I love that. And the thing is, what I get from it, because it happened to me and it happened to so many other kids, is the seed is planted. So whatever you decide to do with it, you decide to do with it. There are plenty of kids that go to theater camp and never perform again, but they're in marketing, they're in
Mhm.
they produce, they run gigantic programs. They work for corporations where there's industrial shows, and everything they learned is from that as well. I mean, I have a lot of friends like that, and so it's not just about the performing. Theater camp and theater training can serve you for the rest of your life in so many ways.
Oh, absolutely. And I think one of the disservices, unfortunately, that we do to kids is we say like, do you want to try out for the play? And the
Mm,
teacher sees maybe just enough potential, and then that hardest working teacher in the whole world, who's probably being paid next to nothing, has 8 to 10 weeks to put on a full scale musical with kids
mhm.
who don't necessarily have the skill or haven't learned the skill yet. And so a lot of what our first experience is, and it's great that we have it, but it's a lot of memorization and regurgitation. And
Right.
ask, like, when I see some of my kids that in their school plays and they just do stellar jobs, they always know that my first question is going to be, okay, how'd you do that? And they have answers, they have thoughts. Well, I came to the table with ideas. I went to my vocal coach for 6 weeks before the auditions, and I really learned the role.
Wow.
It's so unfortunate that we don't that not everyone has the opportunity to learn the skill that not
Yes.
only can get you the job but can make your art the best art it can be, which I
And
think is.
also what it's about, because I worked in a beautiful school called the Male Performing Arts Center in Morristown, New Jersey for 10 years. And it was just an incredible performing arts school. And these kids were like just incredible. And the teachers were incredible. But what I saw in every single kid, whether they followed through and then went to college for it or not, was exactly that, follow through. So when you make a commitment, that these are the things you learn in these camps, whatever camp it is. Like some kids go to basketball camp in the summer, whatever it is. What you're learning to do is exactly what you said. How do I get from here to there? And what are the steps I'm going to take? And how do I train myself in this and work on it every day till I'm really the best I can be at it at this point in my life, and then present it to you? You know, and those skills are life skills. Whatever you end up doing in life, you need those skills.
Oh gosh, they train. I mean, what do they say? The greatest fear above death is public speaking. Like, it's a real thing. Like, people really,
Wow.
people get so nervous to talk in front of groups of people, and once you've mastered that skill, everything from interviewing to whatever job placement you end up in, you're just going to succeed that much more. But also,
Wow.
we give everyone the chance to learn maths and sciences and reading and writing, and even like sports. But I just feel it's so sad in our country right now, especially that arts education is so low on the priority list, and it really does unlock such a different part of the brain. If I had
There's
not
no
learned,
empathy. There would be so much more empathy nowadays if we had more arts and literature that we were studying in our daily lives.
Right.
absolutely.
Well, the thing about learning, any kind of learning, is the more you learn, the more confidence you gain, the more you will try new things, the more you will innovate. You know, the thing is that America is not always in the forefront of innovation. You know, we want to, supposedly we want to get better at it, right? So, but if you don't educate your kids, and education is on every level, and as we were talking about, the arts are so vital to that, and getting your own ideas of things, like maybe you're not a kid that likes to perform, but you might end up being a director and like seeing the world completely differently. These are skills that you can't just get in a vacuum. You have to be, introduced to the arts to do. So I think that's really important. So what's your lineup? What's your schedule? Tell us, if I were a kid, 8 to 18, and I wanted to go to your camp, what might I get?
Yeah, so we have 7 different options for our summer programming. So you can come for 7, 10, 21, or 32 days. And it's all overnight. It's traditional sleepaway camp.
I love
And
it.
then we offer 4 different tracks. So when you come to camp, you choose sort of a major while you're there. And we have an acting major, a musical theater major, a creatives major, anything behind the curtain or behind the camera, as they say. And then we're actually the first camp in the world, the first overnight sleepaway camp in the world to offer the art of drag. So we
What?
have a drag program that runs, and this year it's being run by Ben de la Creme. She's our special guest from RuPaul's Drag Race, and
Are you
Francis.
kidding me?
It's absolutely like, I mean, we've gotten a lot of hate from it,
I'm sure.
but we found the need. There is this need for kids who want to explore it in a safe and supportive environment. And of course, when people think of drag, they think of nightclubs maybe, or they think
Right,
of body risque. Everything is G-rated at a camp anyway, so
right,
it's
right.
very theater based. We come at it from character aspects, from creating characters and wigs and costumes, and it's just very theater. So,
I love this. So Peter Feliciano of Peter Feliciano Fine Jewelry, he's our great friend,
oh yeah,
amazing jewelry designer, sweetheart. He said, that's absolutely awesome. Congratulations. And Peter is a New York guy, also from Puerto Rico, and he is such a wonderful ally in our community that is so supportive of everything we do. So, Peter, thank you for saying that. And here's what people do not under. If this is new to you, let me just explain. Theater is old as time, right? Theater is one of the first. It started in ancient Greece, and as way back as you can think, there were performers like you talked about being the clown that
oh yeah,
was dressed as the mother-in-law. There were performers that dressed in drag. It's costumes. It is acting. It's called theater. People have to stop thinking of it as something that is so scary.
yeah.
Look, I mean, some of us are gay and some of us are straight. That's a whole other set of challenges. But to just put everything in the same category of like nobody's coming after you. This is giving kids a beautiful chance to express themselves in a safe environment. I think it's wonderful.
It's so fun. And in any whatever track they choose, it's a completely safe and supportive environment. It's we're also one of the first sleepaway camps in the world to offer all gender housing. So the idea being like if whether or not you're, cis or non-binary or trans, we just want to make sure every kid feels like everyone's got their back. Like
That's
this is the
so
place
great.
where, we don't have obviously we don't have things like bullies or anything like that. It's theater camp. But we even tell the kids like we're really careful with like making sure that no one establishes cliques or that
Yeah,
this idea of like even sarcasm of because some kids don't speak that same theater language, so we're like it's
right,
just
right.
super gentle to make sure that everyone feels like they're able to be in a supportive environment to be able to develop their art and most importantly discover new areas of art which they may have never had access to because I didn't start writing professionally until I was like 32 years old. And it
Wow.
changed my whole trajectory of my career.
Absolutely. That was my next question. My next question was, have you ever had a kid come in and choose a certain track, and then as they go, whether it's year to year or and decide that they want to be in a different track, and maybe they
Yeah,
discover something about themselves. I love that.
absolutely. Yeah, because we all should be. I mean, I think we're all introduced to theater for the most part through musical theater, because that's what the high
Hmm.
schools are doing. We're all producing Grease or Anything Goes. And that's a fun start. But realistically speaking, not all people who are going to be in the arts are musical theater people. And so why not give a 10-year-old a screenwriting class? And in our case, we actually have this whole screenwriting course during the summer.
Incredible.
And then during the winter time, they actually get to come back and they get to make their films with mentors, with people from LA and New York and San Francisco who come and help them learn what filmmaking is. And then they get to have this amazing film festival I think it's usually in March. And here you get 250 people gathered to watch the films that these kids have created. And
Oh,
for me, like it like makes me have chills every time because I remember the first time I saw myself as an extra in a feature film when I was like
right.
24 years old, and it was again like one of those life-changing moments. Why can't we give those experiences to a 12?
Right, absolutely. And it's just, and again, it's follow through to say, this is something, a vision I have. Okay, and then what do we do about that vision? What are the steps we take to make it happen? And then to see it all the way to completion, and then everyone else gets to see what existed only in your head, and
Yeah,
now it's on paper, and then it's on film. I mean, that is incredible.
it's
You
so
know,
powerful. I think to what you just said is exact. It hit the nail on the head.
yeah,
Something that's just in our heads and you give kids the understanding that they have access to those thoughts and then they have a team that can bring those thoughts to life
right.
whether it's writing or filmmaking or even like in art. I think so often going back to kind of what I was saying before is so often we just teach kids to memorize and say with inflection and then their
Right.
parents kind of applaud them and you're like but why are you doing it? What about this song speaks to you? What's
Right.
where are you bringing you into it? And I think once we start teaching that more and more, we just see these light bulbs go off in these kids where they're just like, oh my gosh,
Mm.
this is like so much more exciting than what I thought it was going to be. And I'm like,
Right.
it's pretty
Right.
exciting.
And
And
there is nothing, we've all been through this. There is nothing like doing a show with
mhm,
other kids and with other, I mean, which you'll chase that for the rest of your life. But
yeah,
there's nothing, and you're creating a community because you all have the same vision and you all want to get to the same point of putting this thing up, right?
yeah,
And people come to see, and there's applause, and you feel like you did it as a community. You helped each other out. Because, like I said, I was a part of this. It was called Magic Circle Children's Theater at Tufts College in Massachusetts. And we would spend a few days working on, we had like two different shows for the summer, but then sometimes, some days we'd have to work on sets.
hmm,
Other days we'd have to work in the box office. It was just so great to get that whole experience,
yeah,
you know? So I want to check. I have a few people that have checked in. Lynn Portish, she's my best buddy and a musical director. Julie Cesari, she was my director at Tony and Tina's wedding, and she lives in Santa Monica. So she's out there. I'm sure she's loving this conversation. Ben Goldberg is watching, also a performer and understands the beauty of performing. I just saw him this week. Congratulations on theater camp.
Thank you.
So Shawn, here's what we're gonna do. We are gonna don't go far. We're gonna zoom you out. We're gonna zoom Rick Sudi Karatas back in, and then we'll zoom you back in, and we'll all talk.
Perfect.
Okay.
No, I love it.
So I love this. So thank you for taking the time to do this. I want to. Doesn't everybody want to go to this camp? And then Leo's camp is. So you're in San Francisco.
The camp is in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and I go between the Santa Cruz Mountains. My Chihuahua lives in West Hollywood, and then just about 4 months ago, I just broke ground on an artist retreat center in Southeast Arizona in the little blue bubble.
That's what I wanted to hear about.
Yeah, it's for adults, which is so fun to get to like do something for my adult friends.
Oh my God, I love this. All right, let's zoom Rick in, and then we'll talk about that. Don't forget, okay? We have to talk about that. That is so much fun. Oh my God. Wow. Okay, so there's always great things happening. This show, by the way, to remind you, is about creative people and the reality of living a creative life. And so there's all different ways to create. So speaking of all different ways to create, our guest that popped in and then was nice enough to understand to pop out is someone that does a lot of different things. He's a writer, he's a screenwriter, he's a songwriter, he's an actor, he's a comedian, he's a book writer. And so, Rick, you showed us, you told us about some of the videos that you've been working on. Yeah. And you make funny videos all the time, right?
Some are really funny. Some are really sad, too. It depends.
Yeah, that's true.
I made a couple really sad ones. So I'm a Gemini. I have two personalities. So
Me too. I'm a Gemini too. I get it. You're a June Gemini. I'm a May Gemini.
Yeah.
But now, so what were you like as a kid? Were you the kind of kid that did go to camps, or did you wish you went to camps?
You know, the only camp I went to was a soccer camp, a half-day soccer camp for a week, and I got most improved player, so that was good. I remember that, but I didn't go to regular camp, and that was like right down the street from us or something. So it wasn't like an overnight. It's just like for a week, half a day.
When did you start? When did you know you were or want to be creative? And what did you do? What was the first thing you did that was creative?
Oh, wow. I used to write in a book. I remember little songs or poems or whatever. I would come up with ideas. I remember, I don't know, I was 12 or 13 and there was a Johnson's baby shampoo in the shower and it said "No More Tears" on it. And I wrote a little song called "No More Tears" because I thought that was a good title. So I remember that probably was one of the first things I wrote, kind of.
So you always were looking for a hook line. That's what I'm hearing.
A lot of times I did. Yeah.
Because that's what you're very much about, the hook line, and you write songs and videos, and it's about that hook line. It's always
I usually write the title first. Oh, and the two new songs I co-wrote with Artis Olson. I want to make sure I mention that.
Okay, so tell us about those.
Yeah, those were we decided to write all these drinking songs. So even though I don't really drink that much, but so Singing Under the Influence, SUI, was about singing drunk karaoke, and then the other one was A Grain of Salt and a Margarita, which is about taking people's unsolicited or bad advice with a grain of salt and a margarita.
Oh, I love that.
And, there's my
Well, the rainbow. Let's go back. I know we because I just saw that. I forgot about. So this one is Fork Social Media and the algorithm it wrote in on, and these are stories of being in Facebook jail, right?
Correct. Yeah, or Instagram also and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't use Facebook in the title for obvious reasons.
Right, but any social media.
And I also didn't use my real legal name for obvious reasons, Sudi Hassan Karatas. So if anyone asks, my name is Rick Smith. Just to get that clear.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that. So no, that's a great book, and also you have Rainbow Relatives, right?
Yeah, that was Rainbow Relatives was the first one. I hate to admit that it's the same publisher as Melania's book.
Well,
anyway, she sold a few more, I'm sure. Right, but I got a publisher, so that's a good thing, and it was a legitimate, good, decent publisher. And then the other two, How Catering Sucked the Life Right Out of Me, I self published through Ingram Spark, and also the Fork social media book. But yeah, I love writing. So whatever idea comes to me, I was in Facebook jail and I was getting ticked off. So I said, well, I'm going to write about that. And I collected everyone else's stories of who were banned and restricted for stupid reasons because of the algorithm. Oh, and Leo helped me with my little book launch when I did last year.
I know. I love this. Was that what that was that you were scrolling, Leo? So
Yeah.
I watched that. It was really good.
It was funny. He did a great job. My God, I don't know what I would have done without him.
That's exactly what I say about Leo. What would I do without Leo?
Yeah.
It's a thing. It's like a running thing. Everybody says the same thing. Okay, so you're someone that likes it. When you start off writing a book, you have the title in your head, I think, right?
Well, for How Catering Sucked the Life Out of Me, yes. And I think the other one, but the Rainbow Relatives, real world stories and advice on how to talk to kids about LGBTQ families and friends. The original idea I had was how to tell the children about Uncle Mary and Aunt Butch, but I didn't go with that one. Although I tried to keep that kind of humor, just lighthearted thing with it. But usually I'll start even with a song. I don't think I've changed the title of a song that much, though. Usually if I have the title, I have the title. Although sometimes I'd be writing a song and within the song, there's a line. I'm like, oh my God, that's a whole separate song. That's a title.
Yes, I agree. I do the same thing.
In fact, when we were singing Under the Influence, there was a line called I'm Beer Brave. That's why I'm going up to sing, because I've had a lot of beers. I'm like, wait a minute, that's a whole nother song. And so we wrote a whole separate song called Beer Brave, about, he's afraid to approach the girl, but then once he has a few beers, he's there. And then someone else is hitting on her. And usually he'd be too timid, but he's had those beers. He's ready to, fight for her. And anyway.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's good. That is fantastic. So that's what you got going on, because you've been on the show a bunch of times. But you have a few new videos. How do they watch your videos?
Oh, they're on YouTube under Sudi Karatas, just my legal first name and last name. And then the songs are also on iTunes and Spotify, so if I can get 5 or 10 cents a month from that.
Yeah, I know. Same thing with me. I think I got a check for $24 a few months ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but it's still fun, and that's why we do it. So.
Yeah, I have fun doing the videos and then putting them on YouTube and stuff. And the Singing Under the Influence won an award at the Culver City Film Festival in, was it December, I think? So that was kind of fun.
And then you won a film festival award in New York last year, right?
Yeah, for the All I Want for Christmas Is You Gone that Mel England played my narcissistic boyfriend in. Yeah, I was telling you that before I was rudely interrupted. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So Mel is our mutual friend, and he is Mr. May in our calendar. Sudi, you were Mr. June.
Last year, because my birthday is in June, so I did it that month.
Yep. So there's Mel, and Rick was also in the kitchen, I believe. Now, speaking of the kitchen, can we zoom Shawn back in and we'll do our food section of the show?
I think he's refreshing his makeup. There he is. Good.
Oh, whenever he comes back.
I forgot to put makeup on. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Oh, Sudi. Everybody, I'm telling you, this group. So
the West California, we're Twitter paid out here. What can I tell you? Spring is it.
And you all have so much in common. You work with kids. You care about kids. You care about humor. There's a lot going on. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I love California. It's next to Massachusetts and New York. It's my favorite state. I could just spend so much time there.
I'm glad I got to meet you last time you were out here. That was
so fun. Michael Woolley. Every time I go out there, Michael Woolley's so gracious and says, let's have people over to the apartment. He's in Toluga Lake. And we did. And I got to meet Rick in person, and Adrian Christian, who's lovely. And so many of my friends came out. Darcy Blakely. Okay. So what did I make tonight? Now, kids, I'm on. Oh, there it is. there we are at Michael's. That was such a fun night, wasn't it? That was a really fun night. There was good food. So speaking of food, we're going to do our food section. And this is called, go ahead, keep eating, this section of the show. So on the count of 3, we're all going to do it together. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Keep eating. Okay, so what did I make tonight? Tonight, and I do this, Shawn, so I can remain creative when I have my friends join me. that challenge myself every week. So I made, because I'm on the keto again, because I have a show coming up May 25th. And if I'm on the keto, I have a big event coming up. It's either a show or a wedding. In other words, I have to fit into some clothes that I can't fit into if I eat too much, which is all the time. When I'm not on the keto, I eat like you've never seen anyone eat in your life. And a lot of it is sugar. So what am I having? A keto works for me. I'm having sausage and pepper, which I put, yes. So I always have to read it because I put everything in here. So hot Italian sausage with red peppers, crushed red peppers, Vidalia onions, garlic, red wine, balsamic vinegar glaze. And that I have it on a bed of romaine lettuce. And it's so good. I ate most of it before the show even started. It was
Pulling a Leo, huh?
What, honey?
Pulling a Leo, eating it before showtime.
I know. I was so hungry. And so I did that. And then for a salad, hold on a second. For a salad, I was just feeling very Italian tonight. Extra Italian. Some nights you can't fight what you are. So I have red leaf lettuce with San Marzano tomatoes that I got at Trader Joe's and chopped them up really small. Some nice sweet baby red peppers. And then you're going to either love this or hate this. I love it. Anchovies with capers, rolled up with capers. So what I did was I used the oil from the anchovies instead of any other kind of oil. I used the actual oil in the anchovies. Yeah, and put just a basic balsamic vinegar on that. And this reminds me of my childhood. These were the kind of salads we ate all the time. And Italian kids love anchovies, so what can I say? And then for dessert, I'm always researching keto desserts because they're hard to find. But this is one of my new favorites. So it's an Atkins Indulge milk chocolate caramel. And you can either get them at certain stores or just order them online. But they literally taste like a Cadbury. They're closest that I've come to real chocolate.
And on keto, you can have 10, 15 of those, right? No problem.
You know what's crazy about the keto though? That you don't really want a lot of sugar. It's does something to your brain. And I am a sugar junkie. So it's very good for me. It's kind of like a diabetic's diet, it's good. But anyway, Shawn, what is something that you love to eat? What is one of your favorite things to eat? Favorite meals? Like if it's your birthday, what do you want to eat?
Oh, I mean, it goes between sushi, but the full sushi with the white rice. That's awful.
Yeah, I love it too. And
chips and salsa. I have a dish towel that literally says, "So, how do we stop eating chips and salsa? Do they run out, or do I die, or what?" Because that to me, chips and salsa and a marg and some gossip.
So good, right? I agree with you. I love chips and salsa. As a matter of fact, that's one of the first things I get when and I can eat. You're right. It just doesn't. You don't stop eating it.
You can't stop.
You can't stop.
Whatever the major tortilla brand that's in the store has a keto tortilla that's 1 gram, and they're not great as sandwich wraps because they don't really hold together. But I'm telling you, if you slice them up and you put a little bit of olive oil and you put them under the broiler, you got chips.
Really?
Good chips too. Not
my God, I'm gonna have to research this. That's amazing.
Yeah.
After my show, I'm going to go crazy and eat. But then I have Lauren Muffson's wedding in August, so I'll be doing that again. It's just crazy because I refuse to go up a size. That's my trick. I refuse. So I'm like, nope, sorry, can't buy bigger pants. But anyway, Rick, what do you love? What if you're I just did something great? I'm going to have what?
Well, I'm half Turkish, so I probably should say shish kebab.
I love Turkish food, by the way.
With lamb, as opposed to. Well, both are good, and I don't have it that often, so it's kind of a nice, I've only made it 2 or 3 times in my life. But my mother, who's not Turkish, would make it quite often.
Because your dad, she wanted to cook.
Yeah, my dad was Turkish. Yeah.
Wow. And go ahead.
No, I'm half Turkish, and I wrote with a Greek friend of mine a script, My Big Gay Turkish Armenian Wedding Fiasco. I don't know if it'll ever get made, but anyway.
Listen, I would watch it. Hey, you wrote a movie as well, right? The Prada movie?
Walk a Mile in My Pradas, yeah. Not to be confused with Devil Wears Pradas with Meryl Streep that did slightly better. But it's still on Amazon Prime, the Tubi TV, and YouTube Premium.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Walk a Mile in My Pradas.
And Tom Arnold is in it, and Dee Wallace. It's a fun. And Bruce Valanche, who's They're so nice people, both of them.
Yeah.
There was another actor, wasn't there, that you had in a soap opera actor? I can't remember his
Nathaniel
name.
Marston, yeah, he was
Nathaniel
the lead.
Marston. That's
Yeah,
right.
he passed away a few years ago, which was really sad. He
Yep,
was
I remember that. He was One Life to Live. That's how I know.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, this is great. So yeah, Turkish food. By the way, I not just discovered Turkish food. I discovered it a few years ago. I'm crazy about it. And the Turkish desserts, I go to this bakery all the time in Cliffside Park, New Jersey. I've never had anything like the Italian desserts are phenomenal. I love those too. But Turkish bakeries, you guys, if you ever come across one, just like don't just pull in like and park in, and get ready to spend a lot of money because everything is like a masterpiece. It's not doesn't just taste good; it's actually gorgeous.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rick.
No, my nickname is Turkish Delight, which I think is a dessert. I'm just kidding.
There
See,
you
that
go.
always reminds me of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Oh,
Yes.
Turkish Delight. That's
Yes,
right.
yes.
That's right.
Yep.
So now,
Edmund.
when does your Shawn? Back to you. When does your camp start? What's the start date?
We start officially July 4th. We move in on the 4th. The kids come on the 6th, and then they're there for like 10 or 20 or 30 days at a time. And it's so funny. Leo can attest. Everyone who knows what we do is like, that sounds so hard. It's quite fun. Like it's harder for me to come back to the real world and work with adults
I can
than it
imagine.
is with kids. So yeah, I enjoy it so much. It's like such a battery recharge every single summer. And
Are you at Maymac still, Shawn?
no, we're at Mount Cross in Bentonville.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about Semper Virens? Do you go back? Well, if there's
Semper Virens, wasn't that the one that I think that
burned almost, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'd rebuilt or not.
No. I think that the state was already ready to take that over as a parking lot, as the state likes to do.
There were some summers where our camp we would move, like we would rotate different places. So we would be at Maymac and then we'd go to Semper Virens and they would be at Maymac and we would switch out.
Leo, when does your camp start, honey? You start.
Well, my camp is separate from the one that was U camps. When Doug was here a couple of weeks, that we would do this in roundabout during summers. My camp now for the kids where I'm working starts. When do we start? June 9th.
Wow.
And then we go all the way through August 1st. So I have 8 weeks but mine's a day camp, so I get to come home.
Right.
But I do. Shawn's right. There's nothing like camp life.
Yeah.
Because you're there and it's positive and it's wonderful and everybody is supportive and these kids get to shine and show who they really are and be appreciated about it from staff and from other from their artists and stuff. And so when you leave there and you come back to camp, I remember and I'm sure you have the same social media. Everyone's texting each other, "I miss you," and camp cheers and camp culture things, that only people know.
Yep, there's nothing like it. I used to teach in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. It was a kind of like an underserved community, and we got the wonderful privilege every year of taking our kids to Camp Mariah, which is Fresh Air Fund. Mariah Carey would donate like millions of dollars every year. And we would get to take like 20 of our kids to overnight, like for 4 nights. And it was like mind blowing. And in that time, and there were other kids there as well, but in that time we would create shows. So we had 4 days to it was mostly improv. And we had 4 days to do this. And it completely bonded everybody for life. I'm still friends with my students are now like my friends on Facebook, and they're all adults that have kids that are the same age. It's really mind blowing. There's nothing like it.
It's the generation to generation, because I knew that I would never have kids. I just wasn't a person that thought
me too.
kids are going to be for me. And I went probably when I was 35 to a 28-year-old's wedding who had been a former camper, and the whole table at the reception that I sat with was all people he had been in camp with. And I was like, whoa, like they're not kidding. Because I never got to go to camp when I was a kid, and so I didn't have those bonds.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That I got to tell just a quick story because we're running out of time. But my show page got advertised, whatever, and people were like clicking in. And one of my friends from Louisiana clicked in and he said, "Oh, I'm going to live stream in." And then one of his friends, he shared the page. One of his friends said, "Wait, Maria Gentili, I went to camp with a girl named Maria Gentili when I was a teenager. It couldn't be the same one. This is in Massachusetts. Did she go to Magic Circle Children's Theater?" And I was like, "Oh my God, tell your friend, yes, it was me." So can you imagine I'm 60, I'm going to be 63 this month. So I was like maybe 11. Think about this, 51 years ago. And she said, I was just thinking about you the other day. And I thought, this is unbelievable because I still think about my camp friends and what we experienced. It's like you never forget. So God bless you for the great work that you're doing, Leo and Shawn, and with these kids, and Rick writing those beautiful books, and Rainbow Relatives. You have it with you?
Do I have it up here? Yeah.
Yeah, let's see what it looks like so people can get it on.
Wait, does he have his pants on? Make sure he's okay.
Yes, thank God. So Rainbow Relatives, you can get that on Amazon. And what is that book again?
It's on speaking to kids about LGBTQ families and friends, different topics.
Like,
your uncle was in. No, there was no monster in your closet, but your uncle was. So about coming out to nieces and nephews. And there's a chapter on religion, pray the gay bashers away. And there's, Daddy left mommy for Tommy. That's when one parent turns out to be gay and they get divorced. So it's done with a sense of humor, but there's serious things in it as well, like bullying. But it's for adults and speaking to kids. Kids don't have their issues. It's the adults. So.
The adults, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, kids are pretty cool. But anyway, okay, Shawn, I can't thank you enough for making the time. And we've wanted to have you on for so long. And then Leo and I were like, "Oh my God, yes, yeah, let's do it." Sometimes what happens is I book way ahead because people reach out to me about their shows. So, and I wanted it to be, I like to have guests on together so it makes sense, and this was a great little grouping. So thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. And one last thing, I always ask my guests to leave our listeners, because everybody that listens to the show or watches the show is also creative in whichever way they're creative. So what piece of advice, let's start with you, Rick. What piece of advice would you give people to continue to find the joy in creating?
Well, just keep going, I guess, is part of it. You have to really enjoy it, though. I think some people lose the enjoyment, and if you've lost that and you're not having fun with it anymore, then it's time to stop. But if you are having fun with it and you still want to do it, don't let anyone talk you out of stopping. Or well, how long are you going to give it and that crap? No, you're gonna if you really want to do
absolutely.
My motto is, if I don't do it, I'm going to die trying. If I don't get there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. Absolutely. And Leo, how about you, honey? What do you want to?
Just keep going. If you want others to believe you, and you got to set the example. So just keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. Shawn, what do you think, honey?
I was just at just had the pleasure of doing the Billy Barnes Foundation's benefit a couple weeks ago, and he was this amazing variety show writer, and he did a lot of comedy stuff for Laugh-In and for the Sunday Fair show and stuff. And they gave me a ballad to sing, and the ballad was the idea of like, you have to find find the perfect day, and then hold it, and you have to see it clearly, and you can't. And the song is called Take Love. So I've been sort of in this mode of the last few months of just like, yeah, there's so much out there that we could take pieces of. So I'm just constantly trying to find the love, the great people, the people I connect with, the moments I connect with. And then just.
By the way, I can't believe we didn't even talk about it. Shawn is an incredible singer. Incredible singer. No, that's not debatable. So, and because we were focusing on the camp, we didn't talk about that much, but you can look. Shawn, do you have a website or anything that people can go to?
Oh yeah, I'm on all the Spotify's and the iTunes and all that. We have a live album called Shawn Ryan Live, but it's not so safe for work. I think I'm in Rick's line of work. That my most popular song right now on Spotify is "All I Want for Christmas Is My Foreskin Back." So yeah.
Okay, well, listen, we can have whatever wishes we want. That's it. We're allowed to wish. All right. So So
Maria,
funny.
can we give a
Yes.
a shout
Sure.
out when because I forgot? Rest in peace, Ruth Buzzy.
Oh
Oh.
my God. I have to tell you a quick Ruth Buzzy story. Thank you for remembering. So when I was in Tony and Tina's wedding, I was in it from 91 to 98. It was an improv show. We walked through the streets of New York. We went to the church. We did this, and then we brought the audience with us, and the audience became part of the show, like it or not. And we never broke character. So one time we're walking through the streets of Greenwich Village, and who should appear beside me? Ruth Buzzy, saying, "What's going on? What's happening? Is this a wedding?" And I said, "Yes, and you're coming with us." And she was like, "I don't have anything to do." Okay. And I literally scooped up Ruth Buzzy, brought her into the show, sat her down, and she hung out. And people thought that she was part of the show. They thought, "Oh, wow, they got Ruth Buzzy. Wow." First of all, for the first hour, she was baffled by what was happening. She thought it was real. And then it started to dawn on her, and she was like, "Oh," and she went for it. She 100,000% committed to it. Even the dances, she was jumping in on all the tarantellas and everything. And I never forgot it. At the end of the show, everybody hugged her and said thank you. She was like, "This was amazing." And then she just went on her way.
Oh, wow.
And that was the first and last time I ever saw Ruth Buzzy. But isn't that a great story?
A legend. She was a legend.
A legend, absolutely. Well, sadly, we've come to the end of our hour. We thank you, gentlemen, so much for taking the time. I know, Leo, it's sad. I know.
I hate this part of the show.
I know, but it was so great. And then you can watch us. The show is archived. Leo puts it in on YouTube. You can watch all our shows. This is episode 397. And you can listen to it in podcast, and any of the podcasts, it's going to go into podcast. Leo will be working tirelessly on that after the show ends. So please listen to us, watch us, and come back every week. And if you miss us, it's okay, because you can watch us on Facebook, YouTube, and we love and appreciate you. Have a wonderful rest of your week.
Thank you. You too.